Thanks, Goose. All right, Spawnlings, it's time to rev up your engines and push the line in Grid Autosport! Vroom, 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 vroom.
Grid Autosport is brought to us by Codemasters, who also make the Dirt series. Their games are always a lot of fun, aren't they, Barjo?
Yeah, they are, Hex. They always hit that perfect spot between arcade and simulation, a perfect balance of precision and difficulty. In my opinion, I think they're actually on par with the likes of Forza and the Need for Speed series.
Grid Autosport is a sidestep of sorts for the franchise. We leave the more arcade and exciting variety of tracks the series is known for to focus down on the challenge of perfecting your driving skills around circuit races.
The campaign is broken up into 5 categories. Open wheel, which is about fast, fragile, high-performance racing. Street racing, which is tight corners on city tracks. Touring cars see some aggressive rough and tumble events. Tuner lets you get your drift on. And the long races of endurance. And this is my favourite, guys, because you need to worry about tyre wear. If you push too hard early on, then your tyres will lose all their traction. This can make the late stages of these long events very tricky because you can't take too many risks or you'll just spin out.
I liked Endurance too, Barjo. The night setting is quite pretty at times, plus the fireworks are delightfully distracting. Surprisingly though, my favourite discipline was open wheel. Usually these high-performance cars are really hard to handle and I end up just spinning out and crashing. But it wasn't like that this time.
Affirmative. One of the most impressive parts of this game is how well the vehicles handle, and you especially notice it in these open wheel events. However, Spawnlings should be warned that this is not an easy game. But there are a few things you can do to help get you through. Are you listening, Barjo?
Yes.
Good, because I see you need this advice. If you drop the difficulty down to easy, it's possible to start in last place and then work your way through the pack slowly. Turning on the driving line also gives you an indicator for when you should slow down to take a corner. The line gives you the perfect angle to turn in and out of a corner.
I always think I can make that turn and I ignore the line and then I end up crashing.
Trust the line, Hex. Trust the line. I'd also recommend turning on traction control, which helps with spin-outs. And there are many other assists too, but most of all, it's avoiding hitting or bumping into other cars that will see you to victory. A slight bump in a circuit racer like this costs you dearly, Barjo.
Hey, it's just my racing style. I like to use the other vehicles as my brakes.
Well, you need to be careful if you play aggressively. There are consequences. Autosport features a damage system which affects how you drive. So, for example, if you have a big crash, you run the risk of damaging your steering. This means it's harder to make turns for the rest of the race. Luckily, the game features a rewind system which lets you go back in time. That way you can avoid any nasty mistakes after they've happened. Time travel.
I do think the circuits get a bit repetitive over time though. They're just not as exciting compared to more arcadey racing games. I think to really enjoy this game, you have to be the kind of gamer that just loves perfecting a lap, so this won't be for everyone. But where this game really shines is online.
That's right. Even though the offline artificial intelligence is actually pretty incredible, online races are super tense. Human players are much more unpredictable and aggressive, which leads to some very scary race starts as you try to avoid the inevitable collision ahead. And of course, you can't rewind time online, so any damage you incur really matters.
Thankfully, there's a derby mode which lets you blow off some steam. Driving my car into other cars. La 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 la. Just like Gary Newman. Crashing.
I'm also happy that split screen is in every version of this game. That's such a rarity nowadays. What are you going to give it overall, Hex?
Well, this is not a game for everyone, and I think the massive campaign just didn't really reward me enough to make me want to go back to it. But if you like these kinds of races, I think it's really well made, so I'm giving it a 7.
I actually enjoyed this much more than I thought I would. I just found so much satisfaction in even overtaking just 1 or 2 cars in a race, so I'm giving it 8 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Barjo, we get a lot of questions from Spawnlings asking how they can get started in games development.
Indeed we do, Hex. And Goose has teamed up with Julian, who we featured on the show a little while back, in a new series to show you how to make your own games.
Take it away, Goose and Julian.